What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Arman Tsarukyan continues to take shots at the idea of an Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett matchup, doubling down on his criticism after his big win in Qatar. Since the victory, Arman has been active across social media, dismissing the potential fight as nothing more than a mismatch. Earlier, during an interview with Ariel Helwani, Tsarukyan mocked the idea of Ilia facing Paddy. Now in his latest interview with Daniel Cormier, he once again voiced his disapproval. Arman said the MMA community would laugh if the UFC booked Topuria versus Pimblett, calling it an extremely easy fight for Ilia. He even compared it to previous mismatches, taking a jab at Michael Chandler in the process. When Cormier asked if he believed Paddy had anything to offer Topuria, Arman responded confidently, "No way. You saw what he did to Michael Chandler. He destroyed him." He then pointed out that many fighters have run through Chandler, implying that Pimblett stands no chance against a champion-level striker like Topuria. Tsarukyan didn't stop there. Later that night, he took to X, mocking Ilia with a string of nicknames, saying Topuria's fall off is wild, joking that he's gone from El Matador to LP and now El Pedico and Del Panoa. The lightweight division is heating up, and fans are now debating which matchup makes the most sense. Would people prefer to see Ilia Topuria defend his status against Paddy Pimblett, take on Arman Tsarukyan himself, or face Justin Gaethje? The fighter many seem to forget in this conversation, with Gaethje warning the UFC that he may retire if he doesn't receive a title shot soon. The future of the division becomes even more intriguing. As the landscape continues to shift, the next move from the UFC could shape the division for years to come. Before moving on to the next news, we have a quick request for you. We're always working to improve our content and truly value your support. If you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, it would mean a lot to us. That way, you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Sean Brady is considering a move down to the lightweight division following his recent loss at UFC 322, where he was stopped by Michael Morales in the first round. Shortly after the fight, Brady reassured fans on Instagram that he was healthy and recovering well. Now, just weeks later, he has reflected on the defeat during an episode of the Brady Bag Show on YouTube. Brady explained that he was simply caught with a clean punch, something he knows is always possible in every fight. While the moment was disappointing, he emphasized that losses are part of the sport and that he has far more wins than setbacks. What bothers him most, he said, is that he didn't get the opportunity to showcase the work he put in during camp. Despite the frustration, he is already back to training and plans to return to the octagon early next year. Later in the show, Brady revealed that many things went wrong during fight week, issues serious enough that he could have pulled out of the bout. However, he refused to go into detail, noting that he doesn't want anything he says to sound like an excuse. He simply chalked it up to a tough week and reaffirmed that he's a fighter who shows up regardless of adversity. As for his return, Brady expressed interest in a rematch with Belal Muhammad, especially since both men are coming off losses and have history inside the cage. But the most intriguing part of the discussion was his openness to moving down to 155 pounds. According to Brady, testing done at the UFC PI showed he's at the upper limit of muscle mass for a welterweight, yet his height and dimensions make him one of the smaller fighters in the division. Many top welterweights are now over 6 feet tall, and Brady believes he might match up better physically against lightweights who are closer to his size. While he admits the cut would be extremely difficult, he insists the issue isn't skill-based, it's about dimensions. Former UFC fighter Zach Pauga responded to Brady's comments, stating that dropping a weight class is never the answer. Fans, however, remain divided. Would Sean Brady find new success at lightweight, or is he better suited to stay and rebuild at welterweight? Move on to another news. Michael Bisping is set to remain a major part of the UFC broadcast team, as he reveals he is finalizing a new multi-year deal with the organization. Once a UFC middleweight champion, and now a cornerstone of the promotion's commentary and analyst lineup, Bisping has seamlessly transitioned from fighter to broadcaster, and it appears that partnership will continue for years to come. In a recent interview with MMA Junkie, Bisping confirmed that he is in the process of signing a 4-year extension with the UFC. While the contract is not officially finalized yet, he expressed strong confidence that everything will be completed very soon. Bisping voiced genuine appreciation for the opportunity, thanking the UFC staff and Dana White for choosing to extend his role as the company enters a new broadcast era with Paramount TV. He noted how grateful and fortunate he feels to maintain such a significant position within the organization, especially after spending so many years competing inside the octagon. Bisping also acknowledged that some critics may label him a company man, but he pushed back on that narrative, emphasizing that the UFC remains the premier MMA promotion in the world. Continuing Continuing to contribute to the sport that has given him so much, he said, is something he does not take for granted. With the Paramount TV transition approaching, questions remain about whether the UFC will introduce any major changes to its broadcast team. Still, Bisping's extension signals the promotion's desire to keep familiar and trusted voices on air as the brand evolves. For fans, it means one of the sport's most respected analysts will continue delivering commentary, insight, and personality for many events to come. Move on to another news. Dana White has reportedly declined Carlos Prate's request to enter the octagon for a face-off with Islam Makhachev following UFC 322. After Makhachev secured a decision win over Jack Della Maddalena, Prate approached Dana, hoping to step into the cage and build hype for a potential future title matchup. However, according to Prate, the UFC president turned down the idea. Prate explained that Dana told him it was the champion's moment, and he didn't want to interrupt or distract Makhachev during his post-fight spotlight. While the UFC has staged similar face-off moments many times before to set up future fights, Dana chose not to allow it on this occasion. Sharing his perspective, Prate said Dana's reasoning seemed more like a way to avoid revealing the UFC's next move in the lightweight title picture. He suggested the organization may not yet know who will get the next title shot and wanted to avoid signaling anything prematurely. Prate believes that uncertainty is the real reason Dana declined the request, rather than concerns about disrupting the champion's moment. For now, the lightweight division remains unpredictable, with several contenders waiting for clarity on the title landscape. Whether Prate will eventually earn that face-off and the title opportunity that could come with it remains to be seen. Move on to another news. Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov are once again in a heated back-and-forth online. The latest exchange began after Khabib revealed that he was selling a collection of digital papakas, 29,000 in total, which reportedly sold out quickly and generated approximately $4.35 million. The NFTs were auctioned through Telegram for an average price of around $150 each. McGregor immediately accused Khabib of scamming his fans, criticizing him for previously deleting a tweet about the digital collection before later reposting it. McGregor wrote that there was no way the good guy Khabib would use his late father's name and Dagestani culture to promote digital NFTs, only to delete the content after fans purchased them, calling it a betrayal that left supporters feeling robbed. McGregor continued by responding to fans who also expressed doubts about the project, saying it was a disgrace and a stain on his father's name, even claiming that father's plan has now become father's scam. In contrast, McGregor praised Islam Makhachev for honoring his own father by placing both of his world titles on his father's shoulders, calling it a genuine and heartfelt moment that stood in stark opposition to Khabib's digital venture. Khabib didn't stay silent. He fired back on Twitter, calling McGregor an absolute liar and accusing him of trying to tarnish his reputation ever since their fight years ago. Khabib defended the digital papakas, stating that good people do not scam anyone but instead create exclusive digital collectibles with real value. Items that represent Dagestani culture and can be shared with friends and family. He highlighted that the papaka-shaped digital gifts were meant to honor tradition, not exploit it, and emphasize their availability exclusively on Telegram, which he called the greatest messaging platform in the world. Khabib then reposted his original announcement confirming that the auction had ended and all digital papakas were sold, thanking everyone who supported the project and became holders of what he described as a unique and meaningful cultural collectible. Move on into another news. Renato Moicano has officially responded to Dan Hooker's recent call-out. During an interview with the Mac Life, Hooker suggested a fight with Moicano, claiming they should face each other because they both suck. Moicano fired back with humor and honesty, agreeing that they are both older fighters and neither is perfect, but insisting that Hooker sucks even more. Moicano criticized Hooker's skill set, arguing that Hooker lacks knockout power, ground game, and high-level grappling. He said that when comparing the two, he believes he clearly has the advantage. However, despite the mutual interest, Moicano doubts the UFC will book the matchup, even though he believes fans would enjoy seeing them compete. Moicano then gave his take on the lightweight title picture. Although he admitted he isn't particularly fond of Arman Tsarukyan, he believes Tsarukyan is the rightful next title challenger. He pointed out Tsarukyan's resume, noting that his only UFC losses are to Mateusz Gamrot in a close fight and to Islam Makhachev on short notice. Based on his recent performances and consistency, Moicano argued that Tsarukyan has earned the No. 1 contender spot. Moicano also questioned the current rankings, especially Paddy Pimblett's rise to No. 5 He argued that Pimblett's recent victories over Tony Ferguson and others should justify such a high placement, and that pushing him into a title shot would be unjustified. He also mentioned that while Justin Gaethje won his last fight, his knockout loss to Max Holloway still affects where he should stand in the title conversation. In Moicano's view, Tsarukyan is the only logical choice for the next lightweight title fight, and the division should move forward based on merit, not hype. Move on to another news. Shavkat Rakhmonov has officially called out Islam Makhachev, and he isn't holding back his confidence. During an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Shavkat openly praised Islam's dominant performance at UFC 322, but made it clear that he wants to test the lightweight champion for himself. According to Shavkat, Islam looked sharp, composed, and technically brilliant inside the cage, but he still wonders whether that win reflected Islam's true greatness, or whether Jack Della Maddalena simply had an unusually poor performance that night. Speaking to Ariel, Shavkat explained that the only way to truly know the answer is to face Islam head-on. He said he respects what Makhachev has achieved and acknowledges the high level at which he competes, but he firmly believes that his own skill set makes him a dangerous matchup for anyone in the division. Shavkat described himself as a universal fighter, someone who can adapt to any style and push his opponent in every area, whether it's striking, wrestling, grappling, or pressure fighting. Rakhmonov emphasized that he isn't chasing hype or looking for headlines. He genuinely wants to challenge himself against the best. To him, stepping into the octagon with Islam Makhachev is the perfect opportunity to prove his versatility, toughness, and championship-level talent. He stated confidently that he can make the fight difficult for Islam everywhere, on the feet, in the clinch, and even on the ground, where Islam is known to dominate most of his opponent. Shavkat believes the matchup would answer all the questions fans have been asking, and would show whether Islam's performance at UFC 322 was due to his excellence or JDM's off night. To his excellence. In closing, Shavkat made his intentions clear. He wants to find out the truth for himself. He wants to test Islam's skill, challenge his dominance, and see how their styles clash under the brightest lights. For him, this fight isn't just another matchup. It's a personal mission to push his limits and prove that he belongs among the very best fighters in the world. Move on to another news. Shavkat Rakhmonov has finally provided a detailed update on his health, revealing the full story behind his meniscus and ACL injury, as well as a clearer timeline for his UFC return. Speaking openly, Shavkat explained that the injury actually occurred before his fight with Ian Gary. Despite not having a full training camp and being away from preparation for an extended period, he didn't want to miss the opportunity to compete. As a result, he chose to step into the octagon while injured, fully aware he was taking a significant risk. Fortunately, the injury did not worsen during the fight. The damage before and after the bout remained the same. Initially, Shavkat hoped to avoid surgery altogether. His plan was to rely on rest and rehabilitation in hopes that the injury would heal naturally. However, even after consistent rehab work, it became clear that the damage was too severe to recover without medical intervention. Ultimately, he underwent surgery, which explains his extended time away from competition. As he approaches nearly a full year out of action, Shavkat now reports that he feels healthy, strong, and finally close to full recovery. According to him, the timeline for his UFC return is becoming increasingly clear. If everything continues progressing smoothly, he expects to be ready to fight again by late February or March. The welterweight contender expressed confidence in his body and his training, emphasizing that he is eager to get back into the cage and resume his climb toward a title shot. Shortly after the interview, Shavkat took to Twitter to clarify part of his comments from Ariel Helwani's show. He made it clear that he wasn't engaging in trash talk, stating that he simply wanted to correct the narrative. In the post, he reminded fans that Ian Gary lost to him while he was injured and pointed out that Gary has not finished any opponent in his last 6 fights. He also referenced Gary's bout with Prates, noting that Prates nearly stopped him. An observation Shavkat used to question whether Gary truly deserves to be considered a #1 contender. With this update, Shavkat not only addressed his long absence, but also made it clear that he remains focused, motivated, and ready to re-enter the division's top tier as soon as he is medically clear.